Punches are thrown, bones are broken, spirits are crushed. Competitive MMA and UFC fighting's intense and always full of surprises, be it the crazy entries with over-the-top costumes and ear-splitting music or quirky hand gestures in the ring. Fighters sure love embracing the crazy factor during fights. But today, we're looking at what weird, unusual thing these fighters do outside the cage. And trust us, it's just as jaw-dropping. First off, we have Tim Kennedy in ballet dancing. Can you imagine the aggressive, macho UFC fighters twirling in tutus? We can. Tim Kennedy, ex-UFC fighter, blew up on social media for spinning gracefully in a pink tutu with matching fairy wings and a crown. He also posted a MMA win on his Insta poised with a medal, saying, "If you are going to dance, dance with passion." You might find the BJJ black belt tiptoeing in kids' costumes a little weird, but Kennedy's not shy about his dancing talents. He boasted, "I am the most beautiful and graceful ballet dancer to have ever danced. Bow to my marvelous, magnificent movement." We're just as impressed as you with Kennedy's transformation skills. Professional MMA fighter in the ring, elegant ballerina in his heart. Let's not forget he's also a successful entrepreneur and now serving proudly as a Special Forces sniper in the US Army. What can this man not do? We're sorry for the next one, but Lyoto Machida chugs his urine after fights. Hailed as the Dragon, Machida has always stood out in the UFC ring. He's known for his unique counter-strike style, integrating karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but he owes his success to one special ingredient: his own pee. Gross! Machida likes to refer to it as urine therapy. Machida told his fans how his father introduced them to the habit. He said in an interview, "I drink my urine every morning like a natural medicine." Just in case you don't believe us, his father even demonstrated the amazing health benefits of drinking pee on live TV. Machida claims sipping his urine helps to flush out your system, a cheap alternative to the expensive protein shakes and supplements UFC champions have to take. While we congratulate Machida for his successful UFC journey, we're hesitant to side with him on this unique family recipe. Next up on the list is cozying up to Vladimir Putin. You'd think heavyweight champions have no business shaking hands with politicians, let alone the Russian dictator. Well, think again. Politics are just as important to MMA fighters. MMA fighter Fedor Emelianenko has become best pals with Putin. Not surprisingly, Putin's a judo black belt and MMA fan who was spotted several times at ringside. After Fedor destroyed Pedro Rizzo in St. Petersburg, Putin stepped into the ring to heartily congratulate the last emperor and thanked him for promoting martial arts within Russia. Fedor couldn't be more grateful. He's elected as president of Russia's martial arts union. Turns out befriending the Russian leader has its perks. Moving on, Darren Cruikshank and many other MMA fighters are featured in steamy videos. With excellent stamina, a great body, and skill to hold down a person, MMA fighters have a lot in common with than you might think. In fact, most of them have dark secrets of featuring in and raunchy films. Some have retired from the world of porn, like Darren Cruikshank, who modeled for under infamous The Randy Blue. The more scandalous one was Japanese MMA fighter Hayato Sakurai, whose wife was not too happy after his sex tapes revealed him getting down with a harem of ladies. And who can forget the war machine John Copenhaver, who dived into adult films 5 years into his professional MMA career. Next up, let's talk about famous Shoey. If you're an avid MMA fan, chances are you've heard of Shoey. Seen as the trademark celebration of heavyweight championship, the Shoey involves chugging beer out of a shoe. And we're not just talking about any shoe. Australian UFC champion Tai Tuivasa likes to turn the crazy up a notch. Every time he wins, he celebrates by drinking beer out of shoes that have been worn by a fan in the match. Talk about fan service! In fact, Tuivasa managed to convince the UFC boss, Dana White, to join him in the shoey tradition in his big win at UFC 271, as he climbed up the cage and drank out of the shoe of social media star Steve Will Dolt. While the Houston crowd went wild. To make matters more gross, Bam Bam has admitted to a more unappetizing shoey, a shoe filled with urine. What's it with UFC fighters and drinking pee? Next, we have Rampage Johnson, who has dry-humped several reporters. MMA fighters are not good at keeping it in their pants. The lightweight champion has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. When he was not fighting to death in the ring, Rampage was busy making female reporters awkward with motorboating comments, or filming videos on how to rape women. Yes, you heard that right. After a fight, Rampage Rampage seems to vent his frustrations by harassing reporters. Following the loss against Teixeira, he proceeded to dry hump the reporter Heather Nicholas. Kudos to Heather for handling it professionally, and yes, we're all grateful Rampage quit fighting to pursue her movie career. Another of Rampage's hobbies involve police car chases. This shouldn't come off as a shock to any of us. Rampage is a die-hard fan of Fast and Furious, and that sums up his personality perfectly. In 2018, he sent the California police on a wild chase when he first hit two cars on his way to Newport Boulevard. Unknown to the police, Rampage was ramming into cars with a flat tire on his truck and talking on the phone while driving, ramping into two more cars. What followed next was a scene from the Need for Speed game, with 10 police cars, motorcycles, and a helicopter chasing Rampage as he refused to pull over and struck away more cars in his way. Then he drove the truck into a sidewalk, hitting pedestrians until the police finally managed to make him pull over. Yes, this man should not be allowed outside the ring. Moving on, we have Roundy Rousey, who's a World of Warcraft and Pokemon nerd. Not all battles are fought in the octagon. For some fighters, like Roundy, it's about video games. During the pandemic, she turned away from throwing punches in the ring to diving into her love for Worldcraft, and even started a YouTube channel to share her passion. While the UFC legend has 12 wins and only 2 losses under her belt, she goes by her nickname, the Pokemon Girl, for her love of Pokemons. She isn't shy of sharing her nerdy pursuits by posting videos of her in cute Pokemon costumes. Did you know that aside from kicking ass in the ring, Roundy also used to be a Pokemon moderator? So the next time you make fun of video geeks, remember that a professional wrestler is out there slaying orcs in World of Warcraft, or moderating your next Pokemon game. Next up, licking blood off the opponent. There's nothing that screams true victory like licking your knocked out opponent's blood. We wish we were exaggerating. BJ Penn's known to the world as the Prodigy and the first gold medalist of World Jiu-Jitsu Championship, but those who follow his matches better know him for his bloodlust. Who can forget the iconic BJ Penn versus Sean Shirk? There was already bad blood between the two, as Shirk had accused Penn for using performance-enhancing drugs. BJ Penn was hungry for revenge. After beating him bloody in the match over the UFC 80 title, Penn proudly declared him dead. He was about to do his signature glove lick, but decided this time to spice things up. Bending over the bloodied Shirk, surrounded by the medical team, BJ Penn wiped his glove on Shirk's blood and licked it to fans' roars. Since then, Penn has gained a reputation for licking the blood of his fallen foes, his recent victims, Joe Stevenson and Diego Sanchez. Fans are joking it's his secret ingredient to fuel his superpowers. Others are concerned how far he might take things. In a recent interview, Penn admitted he was encouraged by his coach to drink Diego's blood to amp him up. Maybe the only way to clear bad blood after a fight is drinking it. And lastly, fighters celebrate after a fight by having a good old taunt. Probably the first thing you'd do after a near-death match would be to cool down. Well, not for these hot-headed UFC fighters. MMA has an unofficial tradition of brawling their opponents long after the match has been over. If you think taunting your beaten opponent is harmless, think again. Look at MMA fighter Tito Ortiz, who takes post-fight teasing to a brutal level. His go-to taunt is walking around his knocked-out opponent, digging an imaginary grave for him, throwing in his body, and covering it with dirt. Extra points for creativity. But it gets gruesome. After losing to Guy Marquez, Ortiz sought revenge against Guy's teammate and bragged about his victory with an offensive shirt about sodomy. In his second match against Marquez, Ortiz went all out and flipped off the entire Lions Den's team, donning on a shirt that said, "Gay Marquez is my bitch." Talk about being a sore loser. That's a wrap for this video. What are some of the weirdest things you've seen MMA fighters do? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.